moving on our flank. Fuck away from me!
What is up, agents? Biz here, and finally back after a dogfight with COVID. Glad to be here, back in the booth, back in action, especially because we have some things to discuss with the new update and what you need to do to make sure your character is safe from this dreaded plague brought from the update. We also have a build just to shake off some of the rust, as it's been a minute for me. As always, if you're new here or been here since dinosaurs roamed the earth, you are welcome here. Man, it feels so good to say that again, and to let you know that I'm here for any questions, whether it be about builds, new games, or anything really. Just drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it. We get better together, so let's do that. With all that said, let's sit back, crack a cool can of liquid death, and get down to it. Okay, so it seems I chose a great time to get super sick and put my life on hold, as it netted all of us an update to Division 2. Yes, there was a patch in this past Tuesday aimed at affecting quality of life in PvP. I'll link the notes below, but I'm sure by now you guys have read them and are adjusting your builds. To be fair, when I was reading these notes, I never really came across the shrapnel trap glitch that supposedly got fixed. Why they targeted that is anyone's guess. But leave a comment below if you ran into this pre-patch. I'd be interested to talk to someone to see if it was worth going after. As with any patch for this franchise, we were bound to have issues. And this time, boys, at a doozy. Turns out there was an issue that caused players to turn invisible, and when logging out, those characters became unavailable to us. What? When people became aware of this, the Division sphere lit up with theories of what did this, and even some people saying it was an attempt at a ninja ban on the people doing the glitches fixed from the patch. Ultimately, the devs came out to let us know it was a shader issue brought on from both the waveform and the BTSU gloves, causing the shader to not render and making the player go invisible along with the shader. As this is for sure not ideal, especially during Golden Bullet, we are getting an extra week of the global event as a silver lining. I feel like it's the right thing to do, and also almost every time Golden Bullet comes around, they find a way to have to extend it. I mean, I'm not complaining on that at all, by the way. Just some observation. Golden Bullet rules. With all that said, it seems like until the client patch comes through, using the BTSU gloves and or the waveform is to court death. Sorta. So be sure not to use them. Also, if you weren't using them and still lost characters, leave a comment below so we can get organized to be sure this community has the best information to preserve the gameplay of the Division. Now that we got that news out of the way, man, I gotta say it's good to be back and see the channel still growing. For those that stuck with me and those joining the ranks, I'm glad you're here, and I'm gonna be sure to earn your viewership. So thank you. I gotta say though, coming back was not an easy task. After being knocked out almost 16 hours a day and sleeping through almost all of the DCEU, except for the Snyder Cut, my controller dexterity was gone. I had to shake the rust off, and with that, I wanted to bring you guys something sorta new, but also a bit familiar with this build. I've been having fun getting back to form with this one, especially with the Golden Bullet event turned on. To start, we're setting up on a 3 red, 3 blue core, with our attributes mostly at red for crit chance and damage, and the other two being armor regen. As I wanted this to be something I could take into PvP or PvE, we arrived at the Firewall specialization. This is a great specialization just for messing around, but I would say it's top tier in conflict and PvP. Reason being, that armor kit gives you that crisp regen for 10 seconds. On the flip side, in PvE, this setup is fun for anyone running and gunning as you burn nearby enemies on armor break. Also, who doesn't love a good flamethrower moment, yeah? Looking at the overview of this build, it's set up really simply. We start with 3 pieces of Sokolov Concern for the crit damage, chance, and SMG damage. I was messing with this brand set in a previous video, and I realized it does a lot of the same stuff as Providence, only you get SMG damage, which is way more useful to me, the Body Shot Baron. Following that, we have 2 pieces of Walker Harris for weapon and armor damage. I've really been liking that switch to armor damage, and I've been seeing kind of a mixed bag from you guys. I mean, whatever works for you is cool. It's all just a game anyway, so play it how you like. Rounding out the brand setup, we have my current favorite piece in the Contractor gloves. That extra armor damage is great, but with the guns we chose for this loadout, the Petrov bonus for LMG damage, will really come in handy. For the chest and backpack talents, we go with a very familiar synergy in Perfect Adrenaline Rush and Intimidate. Coming back to the game, this is like comfort food. In the blue armor, will indicate a nearby enemy, keep you safe, and proc amplified damage from Intimidate all at once. It's really handy, really, wherever you use it. Moving into weapons, we see why we went with LMG and SMG damage. We start here at the Pestilence. I mean, kind of fitting, as I'm coming back from a virus, that this would be here. Clever on me. This LMG has been really fun in this global event, especially when you get a Golden Bullet and the Plague of the Outcast talents all together. I only have 3 reds on this build, and I've been seeing ticks top off around 900k when I have the Golden Bullet. That's a lot of damage and a lot of fun. In the secondary, we keep with the current favorite in my Vector 9mm SBR with Optimist. The 1200 round RPM is scary and keeps ads and players honest when they're coming up to it, and I mean, it just sounds like a hornet's nest. Now for skills, you'd think I'd go Shield, especially with the Firewall spec. I decided not to go that route and instead opt for Maximum Sneak with the Decoy. I like this move for a few reasons. One being, going stealth can offset my lack of dexterity. Ads and players don't know where I am as long as the decoy's out, and I'm going to take advantage of that. Another reason I opted out of shields is because of the Pestilence. If I have that out, I end up going through an Optimus Prime level animation to put away the Pestilence and pull out the shield and the Vector. Not optimal timing when I need to get on target quick. Third and final reason, I'm kind of bored using shields. Everyone is using them, and while I understand their value, I'm kind of just tired of them. Most of the time. On the other skill, we switch depending on the activity. For PvE stuff, I've been keeping that Revive Hive on me. I mean, I've been away for a month. I'm gonna go down. It's just an inevitability. I'm just trying to keep my teammates sane and keep myself vertical. For PvP, I switched to the EMP Sticky. I used this in a recent video, and I really like the way it staggers incoming players, giving you time to take advantage. I'll be riding with this skill for a bit. Overall, this build is a great one to use if you're coming back to the game, or you're a recently marooned skill build player looking to continue the fight. This build has what you need to have fun, and that's pretty much the reason why we're all here, right? Either way, that's going to wrap things up here. Again, a reminder to maintain vigilance on not using the BTSU gloves or the waveform until they fix this patch. Also, stop in and check in on the comments. I know I've been away for a bit, but the time I was out, I was just dying to get back to making content for you guys. If you have anything I could help with, leave it below, and let's get better together. I'll catch you all next time. Biz out.